Hello everyone. Welcome back to Academic Machinery with V. This is me, your host V, coming to you today to just go and talk about the last podcast. This is the last podcast, and honestly, I'm a little sad about it because this podcast I ended up making by myself because I didn't join groups in time. And so this has kind of been like a own personal log for me of my progress in the class, the things that I've learned, how I've tried to be better as a student. And honestly, not just as a student, but when it comes to speaking in front of people and holding myself accountable. So it kind of helps me full-rounded person, But yeah, I'm a little... Well, first, before I get into being a little sad about this ending, let's go and talk about how my speech went. The persuasive speech went amazing, mostly because I accidentally did the persuasive speech for my informative speech because I was trying to go and persuade instead of just, giving information. It probably would have been better. I'm sorry, I keep on talking about this informative speech. I really should have just taught people how to read astrology charts, but whatever. Anyways, for my informative speech, my persuasive speech, I ended up speaking about fast fashion, what it's doing to our climate, what it's doing to what it's doing to each other in terms of waste. It's a speech about ethics, what we are willing to do for the sake of trend, or not even just what we're willing to do, but what we're willing to ignore, and that went over relatively well because I've been talking about how much I can't stand fast fashion for years now. So it's I just need to go and pull up one of the bullet points, the many bullet points I have over this topic, for the 100th time, Yeah, this is a topic that I'm very well versed in, and I was able to get a 97 out of it, so that was really great. I really should have never looked at that timer because when I saw that timer, I was like, oh shoot, I'm running out of time. Ooh. And it just wasn't that great. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and, I think that's kind of it in terms of when I was good with the persuasive speech. It was relatively easy. I knew when to make eye contact. I never make a note card because that requires preparation, and I don't really do that often, so it's but yeah, did not make a note card, didn't do that the first time, and it went over relatively well. And I think not having a note card actually did me better than having one. I feel that note card would just make me look at it a whole lot more than I really needed to. Giving these speeches taught me how to trust myself more, even when it just feels hey, maybe don't say that you can't improvise all the time, but also fake it till you make it is really important. And I feel I was able to utilize that really well doing these speeches. But besides that, when I was doing the speeches, I always knew that the podcast was going to come back, right? And so the podcast held me accountable and kept kind of a tracker of everything. So even though I wasn't really speaking with other people, I was still able to go and be this is where I went wrong here. This is how I can go and do better. It's it helped me think critically about the work I was putting out, and I really appreciate that. I ended up not being in the best situation, in terms of getting school together because Howard, bursar. And so I was a little haphazard, and also that combination with just day-to-day circumstances, this being an 8 a.m., I was gonna go and end up missing a few classes, unfortunately. And I feel like I knew that, like, going into it, but I still wanted to try my best to go and finish out strong. And I feel like I did. I did. I did better than I thought I would have. And I'm really proud of that. There was like kind of a quiet sense of community in the classroom, even if I didn't have a group. There was always somebody like to talk to, always somebody like we're like uplifting, and it was just really sweet. And I'm very grateful to the instructor for helping curate that space of, like, community. And yeah, everybody did amazing. Everybody always did amazing. And I was just very grateful to go and see how smart and how dedicated my fellow peers could be when they put their minds to it. It was apparent in their speeches, in the podcast episodes I watched. I was just overall very proud of everyone. And so with this last podcast, I'm just gonna go and say that this course has taught me how to be a better communicator, how to consider my future self more, because if you don't prep for these speeches, hey, listen, I'm a little procrastinator, I'm a little innovator. Combine the two, I will wing it. And yeah, I mean, I did do a lot of fake it till you make it, but also I did prep, and I did care about the things I was talking about. And I feel like my saving grace was talking about things I already knew about. So even if I did forget something, it was like, but you know this though. So it's like picking topics I already knew. Wonderful. The course, I mean, I can't recommend it because it's a requirement for a lot of co-op students, but the class overall was good. I'm gonna think back to this and be grateful that I was able to be a part of it. And yeah, it is with a heavy heart that I go and close this out for the last final episode of Academic Machinery with V. This has been your host, V. Thank you so much for watching me on this journey, and I hope that you have a great day, a great week, month, year, life, and I wish you all luck in your endeavors, because just in case a student does see this, you should be proud of yourself for everything that you put out. And yeah, when it comes to academics, I feel like it could be like looming and kind of scary, but this class has made it less scary. So if this is a student watching, more classes that you will take are not going to be that scary, and they'll help you grow as a person. And I think that's wonderful. So once again, Academic Machinery, I am your host, V. Thank you so much for watching me up until now. Goodbye.